Hello, everybody. This is Joe Sanches, your favorite realtor here in the Austin, Texas area. And today I want to talk to you about property taxes. They're one of these things that are still kind of a mystery, especially here in Texas. When people talk about property taxes, like, what's your tax rate? Well, the truth is it varies depending on where you're at. And that's why I'm having this presentation here for you guys to see if I can educate you and making your purchases here, because you could buy a huge house and be in a county that charges less and be in a good position, or you could buy a very small house in a county where there's a lot of property tax or it's higher and be paying a lot more money. So just to educate you, depending on what your budgetary needs are and your lifestyle. So let's get to it. How Leander's property taxes compare to Cedar Park, Liberty Hill, and Austin. It's a 2025 update. Understanding property taxes could save you hundreds each month. The same 500K home costs significantly different amounts depending on where you buy in the Austin area. Let's break down what every potential home buyer needs to know about the real cost of home ownership in 2025. Let's get in it. Small house, same loan, $300 plus per month difference. That's right. That's what I was talking to you about. Texas has some of the highest property taxes. While Texas has no state income tax, it compensates with property tax rates among the highest in the nation, averaging 1.8 statewide compared to the national average of 1.1%. The tax rate stack determines your costs. Your total tax bill is a combination of multiple taxing authorities, school districts, municipal utility districts, the city and county rates that can vary dramatically. That's true. I actually was just working on a transaction with my client, and they had 7 taxing units. Crazy. So, lenders and online calculators often miss this. Zillow payment estimates, and even some lenders use generalized tax rates that don't reflect the specific tax situation of individual neighborhoods. Simple as that. You thought you could afford the payment until closing costs hit. Common tax surprises: budgeting for the $2,800 a month home, but end up paying $3,200 a month. You can do that. Being told taxes are in the low twos, but getting hit with 2.9%. That's almost three. Assuming all Austin area suburbs have similar tax structures. We thought we found our dream home in Leander, but the monthly payment was $400 more than we expected because of the tax rate. We had to start all over or search all over again. Recent Austin area home buyer. There you go. Proof is in the pudding. Small percent differences equal big financial impact. As you can see, the different rates here: home price, and then a 1.8 tax rate, 2.5 tax rate, and then a 2.9 tax rate. If you're not calculating your monthly payment based on your specific total rate by city and neighborhood, you're making a potential costly blind bet on your future financial obligations. That's the truth. Okay, so let's decode the real property tax math in 2025. Current tax, current 2025 tax rates. We'll examine the actual rates in effect for each city this year, not outdated information. Impact of HOAs, MUDs, and ISDs. Understand how these additional entities affect your total monthly cost beyond just the base tax rate. Neighborhood specific differences. Not all neighborhoods in the same city have identical tax situations. We'll examine the variations. Legal tax reduction strategies. Discover your proven method to lower your property tax burden after purchase. All right, let's get into it. 2025 tax rate breakdown, city by city. Leander. Leander, Texas has a 2.5 to 2.95% tax rate, typically has higher rates due to Leander Independent School District and newer developments with MUD fees. Yep, I'm part of that. You got to pay to play, they call it. Let's look at Cedar Park. It has a 2.3 to 2.6 tax rate. Is generally lower than Leander, but higher than Austin proper due to Leander ISD in many neighborhoods. Yes, Leander Independent School District is massive. I'm curious on how big it is compared to the other ones. Maybe that's my next video. Uh, Liberty Hill, Texas, 2% to 2.35% often has the lowest rates in the comparison with Liberty Hill ISD rates, generally below Leander ISD. I wonder how long that's going to be for. I know there's some interesting conversations that have happened and some real actions. I think Liberty Hill now is at a 4-day school week, so consider that. It might have to be, have to do something with these taxes or something different. But I know there's a lot of not drama, but there's definitely a lot of conversations. We'll put it that way. Austin, Texas, 2.17 to 2.5%. 2.45% benefits from a larger tax base in established neighborhoods, but rates vary significantly by district. Yep. Please note these ranges are general estimates. Specific neighborhoods may have different rates based on municipal utility districts, independent school districts, and other special taxing entities. That's all true. Okay, so annual property taxes compared on 500 comparison on 500K. Let's take a look. So let's look at the city of Liberty Hill estimated tax rate. Let's say 2.1% or just 2.1% annual tax rate would be 10,500. An estimated monthly impact of $875. That's a lot of tax money. But you can see as it climbs, Austin 2.25%, 11,250, and then keeps climbing. Cedar Park 2.6%, and then if you're there, you're at a $13,000 annual tax bill, and then Leander at 2.85%, you're at a $14,250 tax bill. Just look at those monthly payments. The difference between buying in Liberty Hill versus Leander could mean $312.50 more per month on property taxes alone. That's $3,750 per year, or $112,500 over a 30-year mortgage. All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You're talking about spending some real dollars. You have to pay those. It's just like your mortgage. If you don't pay those, they'll take your house. Okay, why Leander could be higher and how to check neighborhoods. Newer neighborhoods newer neighborhoods often carry MUDs, so municipal utility districts bonds, to pay for infrastructure, adding about 0.3 to 0.9% to your tax bill. These typically decrease over time, 15 to 30 years, as bonds are paid off. Yay. School district differences. Leander ISD typically has higher tax rates than Liberty Hill ISD. School districts make up 50 to 60% of your total property tax burden. That's how they fund the schools. Leander has good schools. Liberty Hill does too. City versus ETJ areas. Some areas outside city limits have no city tax, but may have higher water districts or county rates. Areas in a city ETJ have complex tax situations. I'm just going to stop there for 1 second because, recently we had some floods, and I don't know the whole story on how this plays out, if you pay taxes or not pay taxes, or if this was a mishandling of emergency services per se. I'm not saying there was or not, but I'm just giving you a scenario that happened. Here in Leander, just outside of Leander, there's an area called Sandy Creek, and it's actually part of Travis County. And when the floods happened, this area was, under Travis County jurisdiction. And so, but Leander City, the city of Leander is closest by. And anyways, long story short, there was just some disputes on who was supposed to be taking care of the the roads and that kind of thing, and the emergency situation. Very sad situation. But one of my main questions is, um, it's they're part of an ETJ, so essentially they're not in anybody's city. They're in their own, outside the city, which is called the ETJ, where they're outside the city, but they're still within the county. So either Travis or Williamson County, and then those are the responsible parties. Um, anyways, so it brings up not just complicated tax situations, but complicated situations like the one I'm explaining to you, right? And so, anyways, all these things are very sensitive, I would say. But overall, just know that when you're in these complicated situations, not only makes tax situations a little bit different, but it also makes even emergency services a big deal, and who's taking care of what. Okay, so price isn't everything. A $450,000 home in Leander could have higher monthly payments than a $500,000 home in Liberty Hill due to tax rate differences. Okay, so the legal loophole most buyers miss: homestead exemption. File by April 30th. It might be a different date. You could check on that, but by April 30th, after purchase, to save $500 to $1,200 annually. This exemption reduces the taxable value of your property at least by $40,000 for school districts, and often provides a percentage reduction on other taxes. Yes. Two, disabled veteran exemption. Veterans with service-connected disabilities can receive partial or complete property tax exemptions depending on disability ratings. 100% disabled veterans pay 0% in property taxes. If you're a veteran, I'm a veteran. This is true. I've seen a lot of veterans are able to take um, are able to benefit from this exemption. Number three is the annual appraisal protest. You can contest your home's assessed value each year, even for new construction. Many homeowners save 5 to 15% through successful protests using comparable sales data. Um, so, interesting enough, I work with a lot of landlords and people that own multiple properties. And one of the things, as I'm helping out clients, that I've noticed is working with these protesting. They have a lot of different services. There are a lot of popular ones that you can look up out there. I can't think of the names just off the top of my head, but there's definitely like at least minimum three popular programs that can help you with your annual protest of your taxes. And what they'll do is these programs will go through and basically just try to get any exemption that you can, but sometimes they don't go as deep, or maybe they do. Say that you have some damage to your house, or just something of that nature, or you're in a flood zone, or something crazy happened, or your house is just older. You can actually protest some of those things with the county and let them know that the value is actually less because, hey, look, X, Y, and Z, and so this is definitely a business that people do it for you. You can do it yourself. So just know that there's different things that you can protest there that make it great. Okay, so avoid high mud areas. Number four, if long-term affordability is your priority, target neighborhoods where muds are being paid down or don't exist. Established neighborhoods often have more stable tax rates. All right. You deserve the real numbers. I got burned on property taxes when I bought my first home in Leander. What I thought was a $2,600 payment ballooned to $3,100 due to a hidden tax rate I wasn't told about. I don't want that to happen to you. Okay, so if you're planning to buy and sell or relocate in 2025, let's talk. Whether it's your first home or your fifth, I'll help you avoid tax surprises and find the deal that actually fits your budget. Get my free tax rate and monthly cost comparison sheet side by side chart of neighborhoods with actual 2025 tax rates, estimated monthly payments by price, and tips for reducing taxes post closing. You can call or text me. My phone number is 512 663 8867. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon.